Alright, so let's just lay this out on the table. I see a lot of people complaining that they're having a hard time getting their first win in Warzone, and I'm hoping to address the issues that some of you might be facing that are holding you back from that first W, so let's get into it today. Now with that being said, that doesn't mean if you're a more advanced player with plenty of wins already that you can't learn from some of these tips that I'm going to address in this video, so stick around. If you haven't already, you can check out my 2 most recent Warzone videos, best perks and best beginner tips to help you guys get up and running if you're still a little bit new to the game. Those, along with all of my other socials, will be down in the description below, so feel free to check them out. We just hit 100,000 followers on TikTok and over 1,000 subs here on YouTube, so I cannot thank you guys enough for all the love and support. Go ahead and drop a sub if you're not already a subscriber here, hit that like button, let's get into today's video. So with today's topic, getting more wins or getting your first win in Warzone, we're not really going to be focused on getting high killed games as much as we are just going to be securing that victory. That doesn't mean we're going to be camping all game, but these tips should help you have a better grasp on what to do as the game starts approaching those mid and end game circles. Tip number 1 is going to be the most important one in my opinion, and that goes for all stages of every game you play. That is communication. There are really endless tools in the game that you can use to communicate information that's really important to you and your teammates. You have the ping system where you can ping enemy players, locations, weapons, armor, all of that type of stuff. You have the compass system on top of your screen that lets you pinpoint exactly which direction shots or enemies might be in. And you have the mini map and full map to relay information to your team. With all of these tools at your disposal, there's really no excuse to not have good communication, especially if you're on a team with your friends and you all have microphones. But being a good communicator doesn't just mean using the tools within the game. It can mean a lot of other things too. Try to be very specific in your details and callouts when you're talking to your teammates about stuff going on within the game. Did you just get sniped and you were able to track down where the sniper shot came from? Call that out. Instead of just screaming, revive me, let him know where the sniper might have an angle on him while he's trying to get you back into the fight. Little details like that in many situations can honestly save you the game. Your main goal should be to relay as much useful information as you can throughout the game to your teammates. There are so many more people on this Battle Royale map than we've ever seen before, and information is king. Tip number 2 is going to be rotating early to the new circle. Now I will say that in Warzone there are a lot of ways to get to the new storm circle pretty quickly and pretty effectively, so it's not necessarily a hard thing to do. You have cars, trucks, helicopters, and plenty of buildings that you can simply climb on top to and then use your parachute to glide towards the new circle. But I will say, in my time playing Warzone so far, I've seen a lot of people try to really rotate late with the storm and play that edge of the circle, and it ends up getting them killed a lot more often than not. Again, there are a lot of people on this Battle Royale map, and if you get held in the storm, you're going to die. This storm hurts at all stages of the game, and it's nowhere near as forgiving as storms like Apex Legends and Fortnite. And yes, the gas masks do help and can buy you some valuable time, but they're not gonna last forever. In this Battle Royale, I feel like it's a lot more important to get to the next circle, or at least get close to it, far more early than you have in other Battle Royales. The storm damage hurts a lot, and enemy teams are gonna know that, and if they see you rotating in with the storm right at your back, it's a perfect opportunity for them to turn around and keep you there, and you either have to fight them, pray that they miss their shots, or eat all the storm damage, and not a lot of those outcomes are favorable for you. Again, I'm speaking from personal experience, and maybe your situation has been different, but for me, getting to the new circle as quick as possible and not having to worry about ever being storm held has proved invaluable for me and my teams. Now there is one great way to always stay one step ahead of the storm, and that is by completing the recon contracts. By completing these recon contracts, you are shown the next storm circle after the one that's currently on the map, giving you a little bit of a glimpse into the future. Tip number 3 is going to be choosing your fights carefully. I know for a lot of us it can be very tempting to shoot anything that we see moving, but in certain situations it's going to be more beneficial for you to maybe hold off a second, get a better position, or avoid the fight entirely. Again, if we're going for wins here, your main goal should be to avoid as many unnecessary engagements that you don't have an advantage in as much as possible. By all means, if you can get the jump on an enemy team and you think you can secure a kill before they even know what happened, go for it. But that doesn't mean you have to start sniping at a team that's 200 meters away while you're in the middle of an open field. You gotta pick and choose your fights carefully to give you the best outcome. When you're choosing to engage an enemy team or not, take some of this into consideration. Does your team have the high ground? How far away from the next safe zone is your team? If we take this fight, how many possible other angles could we get shot at from other teams that are in the area? Do we have a solid exit route should this this fight not go in our favor? Do we have self-revives? And do we still have our gulag trips available, or if we die, are we completely out of the game for good? If your main goal is to win, all of these factors should be considered whenever you engage another team. Tip number 4 is going to be to make sure that you and your team have kill streaks available, especially in the late game. If I had to pick two, the two most important in my opinion are UAV and the precision airstrike. The UAV is pretty obvious. It's going to allow you guys to rotate through buildings or through fields and have a good read on where the enemy players are located. That type of information is invaluable, especially late game when these circles get a little bit crazy. You want to know what directions may or may not be safe for your team to rotate through. You want to know if an enemy team is above or below or on the same level as you. If the final circle is in a wide open field or forest, you want to know where the enemy team is so you don't walk out to the open and get sniped. In that same way, if the final circle happens to be in and around a lot of buildings and towns, you want to know that you're not walking through a doorway only to get blasted by some guy in the corner. Now don't get me wrong, people could always run the ghost perk, and then the UAV is pretty much meaningless for you if you can't even see him on the map. But the reality is a lot of players are running the overkill perk instead of ghost, so I think it's safe to say the UAV is a really good kill streak to have, especially at the end game. Precision airstrike is great to have because it deals a lot of damage really quickly, and it's kind of hard to tell where it's coming from. The cluster strike can be good, but I feel like it gives way too much of an indicator as where to avoid, so it's easy for the enemy player to just rotate out of it. Whatever route you decide to choose, having kill streaks in the final circles of Warzone could be the thing that wins you the game. So absolutely do not underestimate their value, and if you have spare cash, make sure you stock up. Tip number 5 might not always be able to be done, but if you have the opportunity to make this happen, I highly suggest you do. Make sure you have the best custom loadouts depending on the type of terrain and environment the last circle ends up being in. Now this opportunity won't always present itself because you might not have access to a new loadout drop that late in the game, but if you do, it can be a game changer for you and your team. For instance, the final circle ends up being in a little neighborhood with lots of 2-story homes and little tight corners to navigate through. Maybe a loadout with a shotgun as a secondary would be a little bit more beneficial than one with a sniper rifle. The complete opposite is also true. Say the final circle ends in a wide open field. Obviously here, you might want to opt for that sniper rifle secondary with combination of an assault rifle. If you're able to use a buy station to get a new loadout or access one of the available loadout drops on the map towards the later stages of the game, I think it's really a good idea to start thinking about what custom loadouts would fit that part of the map the best. We have plenty of custom loadout slots, so take advantage of it and use them the best you can. Think of some cool combinations and things that you can use in different situations. Another great thing to think of with your custom loadouts, depending on the certain area of the map that you're going to be encountering at the end game, is things like tactical and lethal equipment. Do you want to have claymores ready for those house end games, or do you want to have smoke grenades and stuff like that ready so you can cross open areas a little bit more discreetly? Really take the time and think about those tactical and lethal options you have available, because those as well could make a big impact when it comes to those late game circles. But like I said, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that sub button, leave a like on today's video if it helps you in any way, and let me know if these tips helped you in game. If you want, drop a comment down below and let me know the next type of Warzone video you'd like me to cover going forward. I've also been streaming Warzone recently, so if you're interested in watching me live, make sure you follow the stream link, which will be in the description down below. My name is Lucci TV on Twitch, so I hope to see you over there as well. And as always, peace.